in the dying embers of human existence. As the asteroid, a behemoth the size of Texas, hurtles relentlessly toward Earth, the world braces for an apocalyptic end. Deep beneath the bunker, a refuge plunges into the bowels of the Earth. Here the chosen gather, their purpose clear, to preserve the very soul of our civilization. The 35 and 70 millimeter prints that encapsulate the magic, the emotion, and the dreams of generations past. These masterpieces, each frame a testament to the human spirit, are carefully cataloged and cradled in the cavernous confines of the bunker. Perhaps there was room for more. For friends and family yearning for salvation, but sacrifices must be made. The movie nerds stand united, the keepers of a flame, promising a future where the art of storytelling endures, transcending the boundaries of time and space. God help us all.
Welcome to Back to the Frame Rate, part of the Weston Media Podcast Network. In this cinematic crusade, we journey through films on VOD and streaming platforms, deciding their fate, salvation in our vault of legends, or eternal banishment to the flames of the coming asteroid apocalypse. It's actually already here. You can find all of the episodes of our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app, or find us on our socials at Back to the Frame Rate. I am Live and Let Nate, and accompanying me, as always, is Licensed the Sam.
Yes, this is Sam. This is Timothy Dalton Sam. I do not smile. I'm Shakespearean, and I'm serious in License to Kill, but I'm also entertaining.
I figured that was a little bit more uplifting, Sam. I was almost went with Tomorrow Never Sam's, but that seemed like too much of a downer.
That does seem like a downer because Tomorrow Never Sam's implies that tomorrow Sam is going nowhere, and I want to have a happy tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah. So what are we doing here? I thought we were in the middle of our Robert Duvall retrospective. We decided to take a little breather. I mean, it's so intense. We wanted to bring a little swagger to the month. And I felt that with, we're late to the game on what's happening in the news. And I proposed this to you a week ago. We should have done this in about a month ago with Artemis 2 floating around up in the sky. It seemed like the perfect time. We've always joked about how ridiculous this movie is. Why don't we do Moonraker? We are a month late on this, but hey, better late than never.
Absolutely. And talk about a hard shift from Robert Duvall character-driven drama to space sci-fi camp Roger Moore over the top of the moon, summer 1979. We could not have done a further away course correction.
Yeah, well, we're hitting all four quadrants here. It's what we're doing on our show. We want to.
Yes.
We're bringing in the kids. Is what we're doing here.
We're bringing in the kids, and season 3 is incredible. We have Krawcheck on the way. We have former Dilophosaurus turned actor Paul Kandarian. So this is season 3 is where it's at. It's incredible.
It is. So this movie. So what we're gonna do. So I want to just preface with the show. We're just doing a simple review here. We're in, we're out, but stick around because I pulled out of the archives something we did almost 3 years ago, and that was our top 5 James Bond films that you, me, and Ellie did way back in the before times.
Wow! And
that'll be fun. We're not going to listen to it right now, but I'm going to put that in at the end of this episode. So audience listening at home, I just took it out of that episode, which is back on episode 13 from 2023. And you can listen to it here, but it's a really good conversation that the three of us had and with some interesting opinions on our top 5 films. But stick around for that after our conversation about Moonraker.
I am so gonna listen to that in my car later. I can't remember some of the things I said. And episode 13, what is this episode 107?
This is 108.
Wow. We've come a long way. This is incredible.
I will say though, the caveat to that discussion is, Sam, I think you were like traveling through the middle of nowhere because you called in, you did a call in for the episode. So the quality of your call is a little spotty.
The memory has fully returned. I was in Colorado going through tunnels and I could hear you guys barely. But so it'd be like, Ellie, what do you think of Roger Moore? Handsome. And that was it. I remember that. Wow. That was some.
So audience, have a little patience with it, but it is good content nonetheless. Let's get to this conversation, Sam, because this is exciting. This is our first James Bond film that we've talked about. And wow, we are starting with a doozy here. This is, do you want to lead us off with some
Sure.
Trivia or facts on this? Go for it.
Absolutely. So this is Moonraker. This came out summer 1979, 2 years after the Star Wars craze, still big, sci-fi was big. Directed by Lewis Gilbert, who actually did The Spy Who Loved Me just before this. And to give you a sense, The Spy Who Loved Me had a way more modest budget of like 15 million. Big hit. They were actually, I think this is right, they were planning to do For Your Eyes Only next, but because Spy Who Loved Me was such a big hit, they're like, let's go bigger. Let's literally go to space. So this was Moonraker with a $35 million budget, which is the same price tag as Return of the Jedi, like 4 to 5 years later. So that gives you a sense how expensive it is.
And I think when adjusted for inflation, it's like $152 million today. So this is like big budget, tentpole movie.
Yeah,
price for a Bond film.
And we'll definitely
unprecedented for a Bond film.
Unprecedented, and we'll definitely get into that because like that you can see the budget leap. But interestingly enough, the editor is John Glenn, and he, beginning in 1981, would take over directing movies. I mean, directing duties.
Wait. He just landed on the moon, and then he's editing a movie now?
Exactly. Yeah, he's multi-talented guy. And so after Moonraker, which was so big and so over the top. Oh, what's funny? I just got that joke because you're talking. Yeah. Wow. Wake up, Sam. Okay. Wow, we got a slow brain over here.
It seemed like, hey, we need the best guy possible to edit Moonraker. Like, let's get like real astronauts.
He's no stranger to stamina. If he can like sit in like a capsule for hours, he can sit at an edit bay. So I see why they hired him.
Why not?
But so John Glenn took over directing duties, and interestingly enough, after Moonraker, which is way over the top, they course corrected and did the far more grounded For Your Eyes Only, where John Glenn took over directing, which I actually really like that movie a lot. Also, just a little fact, this was Bernard Lee's final outing as M before, because he passed away in 1981. So I don't think he was in the beginning of For Your Eyes Only. I mean, I don't think he's there. So this is his last movie.
This was his last. Yeah. He did 11. He played M in 11 films. Yeah.
And so that I was aware sort of him trailing off, but I never really realized exactly where it happened. So that was really interesting, but yeah, big budget. And music by John Barry, and this Albert R. Broccoli was actually still alive during this. Roger Moore, Louis Childs Chiles, and Michael Linsdale. Yeah. And of course, Richard Kiel returns as Jaws, and we will discuss an absolutely hilarious character arc, sending him off on his way. So this movie plays kind of like Spy Who Loved Me, like on steroids, even though I'll just say it right now, but before the review, Spy Who Loved Me is I think definitely the better film. But so this movie is a big budget leap where they literally go to space. I mean, talk about jumping the shark. They like jump over the shark, fly to the moon, and like have a Star Wars laser battle in this film.
Yeah. Yes. Though we have to say that despite that, this movie was incredibly successful financially. Box office global was $210 million, which is about $870 million today. An amazing return on investment. So despite what what people think about this movie, it did amazing for what it was. So
it did amazing. And this movie, from like what I've seen, it produces a strong reaction. Like I feel that people are either as like, this is the worst James Bond movie I've ever seen, or this is highly entertaining. Yes, there's middling opinions, but it's kind of a divisive Bond in the sense that it's a lot of fun, but yes, it is way, way out there.
Yeah. So because I love the play The Box Office Game with you, Sam, I pulled up a little bit here. This was not easy to do for the weekend this came out. This came out in the US on June 29th and in the UK on June 26, 1979. There's only shows on Box Office Mojo. That's my go-to source for all these things. 3 films were reported that week. The Moonraker was number 1, grossing $7.1 million. Do you have any idea what number 2 would be this weekend?
I am not going to cheat, not going to look at Google. I'm going to try to see, let's see, summer 1979. Would Alien by any chance be on there?
You are correct. That is the number 2 movie in a 6th week, made $4.5 million. There's only one other movie that's reported here, and it's also debuted at the same time, and I only reported $77,000, which surprised me.
Oh wow, that is not much. But if someone handed me $77,000, I'd be like, yay.
I don't think this is accurate. I feel like there's other films that came out because there's a big movie I think that came out a week before this that just doesn't even show up on this week. But I'll tell you, it says it's Meatballs.
Oh, I never would have gotten that. I never would have guessed that. I had no idea what the third was. Yeah.
So one other thing I want to play with you is the top 10 of 1979, because this was the 10th highest grossing movie of 1979. Any idea of what the number 1 movie of 1979 was?
Oh man. It's so funny. 1979 in my mind is a little bit more of a blank. Like even 1980 I could do, because that like number 1 would be Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, but
there's only one movie that
79.
There's only one movie that made over $106 million. This is not adjusted for inflation, but $106 million in 1979 dollars.
Is there a Rocky sequel?
Oh yeah. But that came in at number 3 with $85.1 million. Rocky 2.
Rocky 2. Okay.
Yep. But number 1, you probably won't get this. It's Kramer versus Kramer with $106 million.
A
lot of these titles surprise me. Yeah. Once you get toward the last like 5 of these, you're going to be aha. But number 2 was the Amityville Horror with $86.4 million.
Okay.
Rocky 2 was number 3. Number 4 was Apocalypse Now with $83.4 million.
Cool.
Number 5, another big budget sci-fi movie. The first in a big long franchise.
So 5 would have been Alien.
Nope, that was number 6.
Really? In the first in a big, really? 1979. What am I missing here?
You'll know. You're going to kick yourself.
Okay, 1979
came out in December of 1979. Very toward the.
Oh man!
Started off as a TV show.
Oh, wait a minute. Started off as a TV show. Oh my God! You got to tell me. I'm just going to have to kick myself. I don't think I'm going to get this. Wait a minute.
So disappointed in you.
I'm failing. Or as Michael Caine would say, I failed, Master Wayne. I failed you.
All right. It's Star Trek, the motion picture.
Oh my God. All right. Ladies and gentlemen,
you were revoking
I'm resigning from my post on that. I am fired. And at this time, I just want to spend time with my family in this sad time for my career. Star Trek. Oh my God. That's wow.
All right. Well, That's all, folks. All right. All right.
Wow.
All right. And the last couple here, I'll just, a few big ones here. The Muppet Movie.
Love the Muppet Movie.
76.6 movie. This one I would have never guessed. 10. I think it's Blake Edwards. 10, 19, 74.8 million. And one of my all-time favorite comedies, The Jerk, 73.7.
Oh God, I love The Jerk. Love it.
Yeah. Okay.
I love the Muppet movie. I really love it. Like that's like in my top 20 for like just pure enjoyment.
So one other note here. This movie is Academy Award nominated. Did you know that?
Really? The Moonraker? Yes. For best sound design? No.
Visual effects.
Visual effects. Yeah, I can see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it lost to Alien.
That
it should have.
As it should have. As it should have. That if that beat, like, my God, because Alien doesn't have matte lines around the ship. But yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to our thoughts here on this film. But first, I will throw in this glorious trailer for this.
Trifle overpowering, your scent.
Holly was a warm girl with the right connections.
Could this possibly be the moment for us to pool our resources?
We would be better off working together.
More excitement, more thrills, more spills. And guess who's dropped in for a bite? Jaws is back.
An entire city in space.
James Bond and the treacherous Dr. Goodhead. Despite your efforts, my finely wrought dream approaches its fulfillment.
Where's Don LaFontaine when you need him? Oh, well. Little plot synopsis here. I found one somewhere. After Drax Industries' Moonraker space shuttle is hijacked, secret agent James Bond is assigned to investigate, traveling to California to meet the company's owner, the mysterious Hugo Drax. With the help of scientist Dr. Holly Goodhead, Bond soon uncovers Drax's nefarious plans for humanity, all the while fending off an old nemesis Jaws, and venturing to Venice, Rio, and the Amazon, and even outer space. Wow, I need to find shorter synopsises. Okay, Sam, what say you? Give me some initial thoughts on Moonraker, and then we'll just tear this thing apart.
So I cannot help but have a lot of fun with this movie. I am hyper aware of its very realistic shortcomings. I completely understand negative reviews, and I get how ridiculous as it is. I have a childhood connection to this movie, and I loved it. But as much as I really think The Spy Who Loved Me is actually Roger Moore's best, and is like, I think that may have even been in my top 5 when it's like you're picking Connery's best and Roger Moore's, and then Timothy Dalton, and then George Lazenby sucks. But I find it very entertaining. I also happen to be in a really good mood when I was watching it the other night, so I do like Michael Lonsdale's performance. I think he's a really good Bond villain. I have to say, watching it the other night, I was hyper aware of a couple of things in the script. It was very convenient how he was manufacturing all his space technology using the best of different countries, because it gives Bond an excuse to like globetrot all over the place. Also, there's a huge plot hole where at the very end, Drax mentions that he had to steal back his own shuttle because he needed it. But it was the very act of stealing his shuttle from the American plane that got Bond's attention on him in the first place. And because it's his shuttle anyway, clearly he could have found another way to like get his shuttle. Because like basically in hijacking it and having that plane crash, he got the attention of foreign governments on him. I'll say that here's the thing, like Spy Who Loved Me has this beautiful midsection in Egypt with like the desert, and it's just gorgeous. This movie has some kind of duller moment. Like I feel like at Drax's estate when Bond is hanging out there for a while, that drags a little bit, but there's so much goofy fun in this movie. Like I really love the ridiculous set piece in Venice with the boat chases. And then when his like boat comes out of the water and goes across the thing, I will say 4K watching this on a large TV is ruthless to some of the visual effects in this movie. Now you can see matte lines around the spaceships and stuff like that. And also there's literally a scene where he's navigating like depth charges in the Amazon, and his boat is like being fired upon. This boat comes flying out of the like tree line and lands in the water. And because of 4K and the picture being so crisp, you can see the dummy on the front of the boat, like just,
oh man,
like there's so much of that stuff. So like the movie is ridiculous, but ultimately I really feel kindly towards it because I have a lot of fun with the movie. I enjoy it. When I was a kid, I didn't realize all the references to other films as like kind of wink things, but I find the movie sublimely entertaining, and I'm more inclined to watch it than some other actually better reviewed Bonds that just don't resonate. So bottom line, and without even like talking about scenes yet, I have a lot of fun with the movie. It is so campy and so over the top, but to me, it's kind of like the ultimate Bond, like megalomaniac villain, because he's literally trying to start a new race in space, and his plot is so out there. But it's fun. So it's difficult for me to review this movie because I am highly entertained by it, while at the same time being aware of how silly it is. I will say one last thing before we discuss more is when Roger Moore is in that centrifuge, like G-force thing, and he's spinning around, that's the one time, or one of the few times in all 7 of the films where I actually see him looking like really scared, really uncomfortable, disoriented. Like he looks absolutely terrified there. He played it straight. And I like that because like Roger Moore like never loses his cool in these films. But yeah, it's a lot of, it's fun and ridiculous at the same time. Like this is like as far away as you can get from a Daniel Craig era Bond. So that's my general kind of where my head's at with it.
No, good. I'm going to just share something really brief up front, then because I don't want to get into all the plot mechanics yet here, but I'll say I originally watched this at a very formative time in my life. I remember the first Bond film I ever watched was A View to a Kill, because I saw it, my dad took me to see it in the theater. I'd always been curious about James Bond, but I remember seeing that. And at the time, I loved it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was colorful, action-packed film. It was perfect for a 10-year-old or 11-year-old or however old I was at the time. I was also a big Duran Duran fan. Actually, still am. So there you go. The soundtrack, featured the title track, which was an enormous hit. Immediately, I was at the video store. Next chance I had, and also being a big Star Wars fan and science fiction fan at that age, I gravitated toward the box of Moonraker.
Yes. Oh God, I understand that.
Literally jumped right off the shelf. It was the second Bond movie I ever saw, probably within a week after I saw View to a Kill. And I remember this was probably late summer 1985 or early fall, whatever. I think, yeah, it had to have been because this was May. I remember it was probably second run theater I saw it in. So it might have been late summer. I saw Moonraker. And I can tell you with relative certainty that after an initial viewing, it left zero impression on me at the time. Because I know for a fact, I did not watch this movie again for another 18 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And and in that time, I probably couldn't tell you a single thing about Moonraker either, other than that they go to space. and nothing else about this movie. Now, this movie has had a bad reputation in the Bond film oeuvre.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Possibly being the worst or in the bottom 2 or 3. But I'm here to say, after viewing this film, and I've seen, this is, I think, my 3rd or 4th time watching this overall, because I've had times in my life where I've gone through the entire franchise when I've had too much time in my hands.
Oh, God. Me too. Me too. Yeah.
And as hugely flawed as this movie is, if I were to rank all the Bond films, I would still probably put at least 7 movies below this. And I don't rank them necessarily as bad, but there's some god-awful, dull Bond movies that I just can't sit through. And this is not a high endorsement of this movie. I realize that at all. But at least I came away from viewing this with a newfound appreciation for some parts of this film. And I look forward to talking about these things with you, because there is a lot of entertaining things happening on here. They put the money on the screen on here.
Oh my God,
and that is something I do appreciate, that they did try in parts of this movie. And in some parts of this movie, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. But at least this is something that happened. So
you bring up a really good point about, I'm glad you used the word dull, because that's a perfect, there really are some really dull, tedious Bonds. And at the very least with this one, for the 2 hours that this movie lasted when I was watching it the other night, I was never bored. I was like, whoa, there's a ridiculous double entendre, but I know what you mean about not putting it on the bottom, because man, yes, there are some boring ones out there.
Yeah, I don't ever need to see Diamonds Are Forever again.
Oh,
the Man with the Golden Gun.
Yes, I hate The Man with the Golden Gun. Yeah.
Yeah, there's several that I am never need to go back to, probably. So this is not, I put those way below this.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are some of my initial thoughts. But let's get into this here, because I have questions. I have things to bring up. Right off the bat, first of all, this space shuttle is being transported to the UK. The UK doesn't even have a space program. Why is it going?
Exactly. Not only that, but why did it crash over the Yukon? They make a point to be the debris fell on the Yukon. Where the hell were they flying from? If they're flying from the United States to the UK,
I don't get it.
You don't have to go as far north as the Yukon. That's not that's one of those things where the flight path, my brain went to that immediately, and I was like, what the fuck is it doing way the hell up there?
I have questions after 10 seconds into this movie.
Yeah.
Anyways, but putting that aside, this movie starts off, I want to talk about the pre-title stunt sequence, because this is actually, I think, one of the best in this franchise, at least especially for maybe before the Craig area, maybe some of the Brosnan stuff. I love this whole thing with jumping out of the airplane and Bond chasing the guy with the parachute. There's some campy stuff with Jaws that's in this, but what I love about this is real stuntmen. This is a real stunt. This stuff does not happen anymore. There's no CGI. There's no blue screen, except for the close-ups of Roger Moore, of course. But this isn't done anymore unless it's a Mission Impossible movie. And Tom Cruise is doing this, but he's not a human. But still, this is really well done. And I am strapped in when I forgot all about the stunt in this movie. But this is incredible. And the cameraman, the camera work, the cinematography for the stunt is amazing.
I totally agree. It's so clearly obvious. They're action, they're stuntmen jumping out of the plane, and they even are fighting each other in midair, and that hilarious campy cut where Richard Kiel tries to open his parachute and it doesn't work. And then it's and he falls on the circus. That's just that's the tone of Moonraker, where it's
I know, hits the ground without a parachute, but don't worry, He'll be fine. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, he does. He's one of those mythic villains where like in this movie he like falls off waterfalls and like he's just like he never gets hurt. But he killed a shark in Spy Who Loved Me like with his bare teeth. So it's like he's like a mega sidekick villain. But yeah, that stunt sequence was awesome, and I miss those stunts in movies today. Even some of it was definitely like blue screen, but the cable car going up to Corcovado, the mountain in Rio, that's a real place. I've been there. I lived in Brazil when I was like a 13-year-old. And so there's like, I just like the effort of like, oh my God, they actually like stopped the cables. And like nowadays you would like CGI it, you know what I mean? So it just, that stunt work is impressive. Yeah.
Great stunt work, great cinematography during that. That's the other great stunt scene that I made note of here. I wish Jaws wasn't necessarily in these things, but I just love the way that it's done. Really well choreographed stunt work on this. I was going to get to the cable car thing in a bit, but yes,
we don't have to get to that yet.
As a highlight, Bond films are known for their title sequence and the song. I would say that Shirley Bassey has done several of these. She sang Goldfinger and Diamonds Are Forever, both far superior than Moonraker, the song.
Oh yeah.
So I
like the dreamlike quality. Like I like that opening sequence. I do like the Moonraker song, but it's definitely not her best. But I prefer it. It's Spy Who Loved Me is way better too. But like, yeah, it's sort of a middling song. But I like the dreamy sci-fi like Moonraker as opposed to like Moonraker, space. So like, yeah, I hear you there. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it felt like they're trying to capture Goldfinger or something, but I don't know.
I totally hear that. Yeah.
No, I had notes on Hugo Drax. I want to talk about Hugo Drax. You said you liked him as a villain.
The reason I liked him is because I don't know. I just liked his screen presence, but he's also sullen, but he also like chuckles in the middle of it. He'll say something, he'll deliver a line, and instead of being like, Mr. Bond, you keep appearing like an unwanted guest, he laughs in the middle of it and he goes, Mr. Bond, you keep appearing like
I don't even remember him laughing or smiling.
It's not even a laughing. It's just like he's kind of amused, but I just like his deadpan way of like, he's like, oh, look, the British Prime Minister and wearing gas masks nonetheless. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but you'll find that I apologize if I don't quite understand British humor or something like that. I just liked his performance because some Bond villains are kind of a blank to me, but him, I remember. I wouldn't put him as like top tier villain, but I liked him overall because he was so calm and poised, and he also like clearly. He's not fooled by Bond for a second. He's like, oh, I got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah. You state a great case, Sam. I found him to be a very middling villain. I think, I remembered him differently. I think I remember growing up, my first impression of this movie, I did remember him from that first viewing. I thought he was extremely menacing. That's how I remembered him. The pictures of him, like you see a photo of him, he's got that goatee beard and the dark hair, and he looks scowling, and he seems intimidating, but I find him to be very much a blank canvas, and doesn't have much menace to him that I remembered from this, that I experienced with this viewing. So he had a great look to him, like this quiet authority. But watching this with fresh eyes, I guess 20 years later, Michael Lonsdale plays him, I thought, really not much panache. Bond villains are often known for a lot of scenery chewing and their charisma. Not all of them. Some of them really are dull. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, Bond villains really can be hit and miss. I'm kind of surprised how many of them are not good.
That's true. I mean, it's funny. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say, it's funny. The first one you saw in the theater was A View to a Kill. The first Bond I saw in the theater was 1989's License to Kill. And even though it's a totally different style movie in terms of Bond villains, I must say Robert Duvall as Sanchez was a scary villain to me because he was like a real world, like drug dealer who would like cut people's throats. And I was actually like, that guy actually made me nervous in that movie because he was less campy Bond villain and more like, values loyalty, but like really temperamental. And so that when I watch License to Kill, I'm actually always nervous when he thinks Bond is his friend. I'm waiting for him to discover who Bond really is. And there's like actual tension there. But yeah, just regarding Bond villains in general,
So I just found Drax to just be uninteresting to me. And I guess it's just that his inflection isn't changing much throughout this entire movie. He, like you said, it's a lot of deadpan delivering. I didn't think he's not going to crack jokes. I get that. And he's not really a large or intimidating man. And he's walking around like he's got a metal rod up his ass, and he's not even British. So he just didn't have personality. I just don't want to spend any time with him in this.
I totally hear that. Yeah.
He's no Aristotle Christos from Your Eyes Only. He's no Max Zorin. He's no General Arkady Grigorovich. Somebody that makes me feel something. And I'll tell you what, Sam, every villain is ruined for all time after Owen Davian. So every movie needs to have Philip Seymour Hoffman, Owen Davian from MI Mission Impossible 3.
God.
If they could just put him in all the Bond movies, then we got a movie.
If Owen Davian was in it,
you want to do it, Sam? Do the voice.
I'll do it. If Owen Davian was in it, he'd be like, let me tell you something, Bond. He's like, you think you're going to stop my spaceship? You're not going to stop my spaceship. He's like, James, do you have a wife or a girlfriend? Because whoever she is, I'm going to find her. I'm going to find her and I'm going to hurt her.
He probably is the one that killed his wife back in 1969. So whatever movie that was.
Exactly. He'd be like,
he would have. It would have happened.
He would have and then he'd reveal it in the most like cruel way. He'd be like, so remember that time you were married? He's like, I just want to let you know. And it's like, it was a real pleasure shooting her. It was just, I just wanted to let you know that. And it'd be like, oh my God, he's a psychopath.
Yes. I want that Bond villain. I want that.
What do you think of, and is it Lois Childs, or I always like, because her first name is, what do you think of her performance? Because I have to say, sometimes she's good, but some lines she delivers so flatly that it calls attention to itself. And I know the role is not like, incredible acting, but there's one scene where she's like stuck in the space station, or she hasn't seen Bond for a while, and she sees him, and it's the most false, like, James, like, I'm so happy to see you, but I don't know. I like her and like I like her as an actress, but I just for some reason she like the chemistry between her and Roger Moore is the chemistry between Roger Moore and the Russian agent in Spy Who Loved Me is I think way better. And I know that actress's name. My mind is like drawing a blank, but like I didn't think it was bad. I just think she's not like amazing. I'm curious what you thought of her.
Interesting. We might think about this differently. So I actually do agree. I don't know if their chemistry is great in this. I don't think this is Roger Moore's best work as James Bond. But I do think that Lois Childs is a very good Bond girl, and she's not a typical Bond girl.
Yes,
because I'd rank her in the upper echelon for these because she's not some. Excuse the term, like some bimbo with a PhD. Oh, Denise Richards. Oh my God. Yeah. I do wish her character was fleshed out a bit more, but she's playing with intelligence. She's got coyness. She's pretty straightforward. I think that she's great in this. I have no problems with her performance. Lois Childs. I think she's one of the high points as far as performances in this film. As far as the lead performances in here, I think she's very good. I think that she could be in better things.
Yeah, I honestly, I really like the fact that she's also like a CIA agent, and that like hilarious scene where he's like, "Oh, is this a standard issue perfume?" And it's like lighter fluid. Like I like that. And to be honest, I do for the most part like her in this movie. I don't think for me, it's not criticizing her overall performance. There's just some individual lines for me that read as like really flat, where I'm like, oh, I wish you guys had done one more take on that. But that's just me kind of like overanalyze. But overall, no, I do like her. I like her, and I like what her character does. And I do think they work well together, especially when they're both in the ambulance and they're like trying to trick that guy into like looking at her while like Bond kicks the fire extinguisher. And just they have a good dynamic. Yeah.
The ambulance ride, aka Product Placement Boulevard.
Oh God, yeah, it was just like 7-Up and Seiko watches, and they're like, let's go past every single billboard.
I felt like I should start smoking Marlboros and fly British Airways by the end of that scene.
Yes, I also love like even though it's like supposed to be Carnival and Rio, I love some of the background extras where there's people just like like dancing in the street, like they're dancing in back alleys for no reason other than to just like block Jaws from like, fighting them. Like it's hilarious.
Oh, that's right. When they're in Brazil and like Jaws shows up and Bond is with this new girl, like he takes the bartender out. Is that what it is? Manuela? Is that who it is?
Yeah, exactly.
And back up for 1 second. He meets Manuela and within a minute, he is already molesting her. Like,
yeah.
How do you spend 5 hours in Rio if you don't samba as he's disrobing her?
That scene,
I love it.
I love it, but like talk about like a 2026 perception of that scene. That scene is borderline cringe because you're like, oh my God, he's like a predator. He's like, so how are we going to kill time? And then he starts unraveling her dress and you're like, Jesus.
So casual about it. Yeah.
So casual.
Oh, man. Yeah. So, yeah, but you're right. All of the Carnival and so I forget what Manuel is doing, but Josh shows up. By the way, creepy clown costume.
That was scary. Yeah, that was horrible. I remember being like unsettled as a kid watching that scene. Yeah, definitely.
And he shows up and he is just kind of carried away by some party goers. My theory is he wanted to party with them because he could have overpowered them. The guy can kill a shark. He can like tear apart like a cable with his teeth. He could have like got away from those party goers if he wanted to. But this is his heartwarming, I think is what it is.
Exactly. They were brilliantly
yes.
planting the seed that he's a good guy. Because literally when you watch that, when he gets pushed away by the party goers, he makes this hand gesture like, all right.
Exactly. Oh, we're jumping all around him. I don't care. This is whatever. I have so many notes, but whatever. What else? We need to talk of, because I don't want to talk forever.
I will say one thing I noticed that on this viewing, watching it very clear-headedly, one thing I noticed that I actually didn't notice as much before, because I haven't seen it in a couple of years, but like I liked how the like quote unquote like superhuman race like supermodel people are like peppered throughout the movie from the beginning more than I noticed. Like that there's two women at Drax's estate in the beginning. They show up in space. There's a woman at the glass factory.
Just so you know, get it right. They're astro technicians.
They're astro technicians. My apologies my apologies
Not
to the
beautiful women. Astro technicians.
They are astro technicians who happen to be visually pleasing, perhaps, to someone in theory, but I like that. Like, there's a woman that's working at the glass factory in Venice. I mean, in Italy, and she shows up later at the place near Iguazu Falls in Brazil, but they actually, part of that, they shot at the same place that Star Wars 1977 did. There's the one shot of the outside structure. It's not Guatemala. I've researched this and I don't have it written down, but like they go to a place because Drax is using that orchid plant and like refurbishing it or whatever. And the orchid plant killed this ancient civilization. And so that exterior shot it's part of that like Mayan something that is actually featured more heavily in 1977 Star Wars. But I just like the fact, bottom line, the lengthy roundabout point I'm making is some familiar faces pop up. And what I do like about the script is more so than in some other James Bonds, you see pieces of Drax's plan peppered all over the place. Like there's physical evidence of what he's doing. I thought the plant and payoff was pretty good, as opposed to a movie like Octopussy, which I enjoy, but there are plot threads all over the place in that film that I find more confusing.
Drax's lair. So you mentioned this. So Bond goes there. This is somewhere in the Amazon. He just has a lair somewhere in the Amazon. He does, and I was fine. It's supposed to be. Yeah. In the movie, it's a river that's not the Amazon. It's some tributary off of it, and they specifically mention the name, and I totally forgot. But so it's there. But I did like the fact the scenery was cool there. Yeah. This, by the way, maybe top 5 villain lairs in Bond. I really like all the set design for this. That first scene where all the astro technicians are hanging out, great set piece. Then you get that other room with all of those big monitors up on the ceiling. It's gorgeous. Yes. Where Drax is hanging out. And of course, the space station up in space as well. All of this, millions of dollars are thrown up on the screen. All this. I really appreciate that they put the money here for sure. Well done. They really did. I actually liked how the space station, like they put a lot of effort into its destruction. Like it blows up in pieces and pieces are falling off. Like it's first of that space station blowing up. I thought I saw the explosion and it looks like it just kind of evaporated in my viewing. Now you saw it in 4K, I guess. I honestly, you know what I have? I have a DVD. All right. Oh, interesting. From back in the day. That was because this is actually not streaming. You have to rent it, or currently we just missed the window, I think like a couple weeks ago where it was on Prime or something. It was. And you know what's interesting is you can rent it in Amazon Prime, but it's only in HD on Amazon Prime. And I'm like, no. I got to find this in 4K. You can rent it in 4K on Apple TV Plus. And the only thing is 4K, like I love the climax, but man, does it reveal like when there are tracks on the spacecraft, like there are matte lines and there's areas of black where the stars are not there because they're literally like, the matte lines are not as clean as like vastly superior work that like, Empire Strikes Back did. Yeah. But I was not giving these guys money. No. Yeah. I hear you. I honestly, I have it back in Massachusetts, but I'm in California, and I was like, I have to see it in 4K. You get Roger Moore commentary on the DVD. Oh, he's like, I remember how hot it was in this set. Yeah. Yes. And like when I did the centrifuge, like I thought he talks about how they blew air like at a really high velocity. That's how they got the effect on his face. And he said he was worried they were going to blow the hair off his head. So he's got some okay stories on the commentary. I listened to about half of it and I'm like, I think I'm good. I really liked that the crew, apparently like cast and crew and multiple directors really enjoyed working with him. Like it sounds like he was a fun, spirited actor to be around. I never got any kind of diva vibe from Roger Moore. Yeah. So this space battle happens with, we have to talk about this. These like 2 battalions face, I guess it's the Americans versus Drax Space Army, space lasers at all. This is a ridiculous scene with the worst sound effects ever. I did capture this because listen to this. Like, is this like 8-bit Nintendo?
If those sound effects could not get more like pew, 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 pew. Like it does sound like a Nintendo game. It really does.
Yeah. It's pretty rough. So Bond kills Drax. He uses that Q's cyanide dart on him, and he goes out into space, and we get the line, "Where's Drax? Oh, he had to fly." I didn't capture that and feel like it. Drax has a girlfriend. Yeah, this is pretty controversial, and suddenly he can speak too.
Oh, you mean Jaws? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that Drax. Jaws can speak. Yep.
I do remember as a kid when Drax gets like sucked out the vent. I rewound that so many times as a kid. I was enamored with that, with the like, and it looked amazing. And I see it now, and I'm like, yeah, it's all right, you know.
Yeah. This final climax, I feel, is so very derivative of Star Wars. Obviously, there's a lot of the vibe of it. And I said the explosion, I think, is very comical and derivative of the Death Star blowing up as well. Like I said, I think the space station just kind of evaporates, at least in my viewing. I felt like I had no weight to it. I don't know.
It's funny. A lot of that special effects. It's like in the summer of 1979, people probably would have been like, wow. But like, I would say probably the most impressive thing that translates best to 2026 is the anti-gravity moment inside the space station when they're all floating around. That was still like, wow, that looks pretty good. Like way more so than the laser effects, you know?
Yeah. But wait, there's more, because then Bond and Goodhead have to chase down these orbs that were sent toward Earth with that neurotoxin. And Bond, very much like Star Wars, has to do the targeting and shoot them down using manual targeting as well. And he had to use the Force, is how I interpreted it.
He had to use the Force, and the graphics on that manual targeting are hilarious. It's like he's playing an Atari video game in space. Like,
and the acting in this is wretched. So
yes.
I actually captured this because this is worth listening to again.
Automatic firing system negative. Must be the heat. Switching to manual.
Controls aren't responding. Wings are beginning to glow.
Hold her steady. Steady.
Almost there.
Steady.
I literally half expected to hear right there, "You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this shot and go home."
All right. But all this happens, which ends in one of the greatest final scenes in James Bond lore, I think, where they're back at mission control, and you got M, you got Q, and they want to patch Bond into Buckingham Palace and was it the White House? Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. They say we can patch in video to Buckingham Palace and the White House, I think. And the video feed aboard Moonraker shows up, and Bond and Goodhead are floating in a compromised state, let's say. And it is so good. And I love that fact that M, just the most disdain, I think, ever.
He's so disappointed. He's like 007. Like, oh God.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Like, anytime I'm disappointed in you, Sam, or a guest,
007.
Like, it's so good. It's so good.
It's pure disdain.
Yes.
This is the first joint venture between our two countries. I'm having it patched directly to the White House and Buckingham Palace.
Well, I'm sure Her Majesty will be fascinated.
We have audiovisual.
Ah, at last.
My God, what's Bond doing?
I think he's attempting re-entry, sir.
Oh. I've watched that on YouTube like 13 times in the past 4 days. I can't get enough.
That literally deserves a slow clap. I love how Q is always tuned in. In some other movies, he's always everyone else is double it. What's Bond doing? And Q is oh.
Yeah. Okay. You want to take a quick break and we'll get back with our rating and decision on this?
Sounds good.
All right.
Just hold them up for a few seconds.
Close up formation.
Almost there.
Let it loose. They're right behind me.
Almost there.
I can't hold them.
It's away.
Use the force, Luke. Let go.
His computer's on. Luke, you switched off your targeting computer. What's wrong?
Nothing. I'm all right.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.
It's no Moonraker.
So it's no Moonraker, but what is,
Yeah. Okay. Any last thoughts on, well, we've already done that. Let's, final thoughts on Moonraker, your rating and decision on whether we're going to save a PURGE this film.
So I'm a softie for this movie. I just have a lot of fun with it. It is sublimely ridiculous. And I would give it 3.5 stars for fun factor because it's a highly watchable, entertaining James Bond for me personally, in spite of its flaws, which are very apparent, but the enjoyment factor is up there. So I would give it 3.5. I would opt to save it only because in these dark days of the apocalypse, why not see Bond and Dr. Goodhead have some fun times and some fun adventures and take us to a galaxy very, very close to the atmosphere with some questionable special effects.
Wow. All right. Sam, I want to match your enthusiasm for this film. I so do. Because everything you said, I agree with. But I just bringing it down to reality here a little bit. I mean, this movie here's the good. This movie has some really good stunt work and stunt choreography. I think the set pieces are spectacular. I like Drax's lair. I don't think Drax is a good villain. I think this is probably average of all the 7 more film. I think he did 7 of them, right? This is in the middle of his performances. I think Dr. Goodhead is one of the better Bond girls. But I like the on location aspects of this. In fact, I'm kind of talking myself into a hot positive review here. I don't know. There's that for what a Bond movie is supposed to be. Yes, I think this is an awful script. I think this is not a good plot, the good story. It's a ridiculous movie.
It does feel like it was written really fast. They're like, we're gonna let's cash in on the Spy Who Loved Me. Okay, it's in space and there's you can feel the surface level of the script. That's really apparent. Yeah.
And this movie is campy. In fact, we glossed over something we probably shouldn't have, and that was the whole gondola scene and how that thing just went completely off the rails with double takes from pigeons and dogs and the music and that whole scene. We didn't even really get into it. In fact, we don't have to because that is one of the most probably hated sequences in franchise history.
Actually, really quick question before the scene where Bond he's just fallen out of the ambulance. He's on his own, and all of a sudden he's like riding through the open fields, like Pancho Villa with all these guys, and then there's like this music. I know that's a reference to something, but I don't. Is that the Magnificent Seven? Oh. But what is that? Because
no. So playing music, Davy Crockett music. Is
Davy Crockett. Okay, that's what it is. Because I knew it was something, but I didn't know what it was. Okay, I was just curious. Yeah.
I think it's Davy, or is it? I think it's Davy Crockett. Or you know what? My knowledge is not business, but I feel like it's something like that. Or is it?
It was definitely referencing. It was like da 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 da, and I knew I was like, clearly they're they're doing something, and I don't know what it is.
Somebody who knows this is going to call me out on that. My thought was Davy Crockett, Boone, something like that.
It might be. It's whatever it is. It's definitely an on purpose, on the nose comical reference, and I don't know what it is.
That's what this movie is doing, though. It's more of I feel like this movie, and this is where I was about to throw some shade on this movie. This movie is a parody of itself, of the Bond franchise.
It is.
In so many ways. And that bothers me a lot. The references to Close Encounters, of Star Wars, of all science fiction movies, 2001, like the little jingle when he hits the little keypad and all these things really get to me. And it's so campy, but it's also, the tone is completely all over the place too. There is a scene on Drax's estate that is scary and harrowing when one of the first girls that he meets, I forget her name, who I think he sleeps with, and Drax finds out about this, fires her, and she runs into the woods, and his two German shepherds hunt her down in a really scary moment. And I'm like, wow, this is like a kid's campy film, and yet this scene that's like 30 seconds long is really disturbing.
It was. I remember that as a kid. That scene really stood out, and like I was like, whoa. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's moments like that of just campiness, and then there's parts of this movie that are just so dull as well. So overall this movie just is I'm not up on this movie. I cannot recommend this movie. This is still, like I said, of the 25 Bond movies, is that what we're up to now?
Yeah.
It's still in the bottom 25%.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair.
If I'm going to save a Bond movie, it's going to be in the top half at minimum.
Right. Yeah.
It's got to. So I'm sorry, Sam. I'm not going to. But by the way, what I wanted to say is that scene where he comes out of the water with the boat, it was just done. It was done in the movie before this. This is The Spy Who Loved Me, right?
It was done in The Spy Who Loved Me better.
Remember the scene where he comes out in the White Lotus and he drops the fish out? No, can't be seen, but it had a class to it. It did. And it was understated in a way. Now, it was probably hated at the time, but still, it was done in a way that it was a little cringy, but that took that to another level in this film that was just
dogs and pigeons.
Yes, exactly. So anyways, no, I'm giving this a 2.5 out of 5. So it's great in some ways, terrible in other ways, right in the middle. I'm not saying it's a bad film. There are plenty of other James Bond movies that I would give a lower rating to. But no, I'm not saving this. So we are split on this, and we will have to wait for somebody else to weigh in on this to tip the scales one way or another.
We should ask Krawcheck.
We can. We have a couple of movies waiting in the wings for somebody to weigh in on. So we'll see. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna have to wait. I
totally hear that, and I fully acknowledge, like I don't feel strongly defensive of Moonraker at all. I have a soft spot for it's a childhood connection, but everything you say is like 100%. Like I agree with you while giving it the same higher rating because of my feelings for it. But the filmmaker in me, the analyst, the movie definitely has it's weirdly tonal. And I think Spy Who Loved Me is way more upper tier. And Spy Who Loved Me's climax with a nuclear missile inside of the giant freight ship is way more serious and like that's like approaching Connery level Bond. So yeah, totally. Yeah. I hear you. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we can wrap this up for tonight. And we will continue in a couple weeks with our Robert Duvall retrospective with 1993's Falling Down. I'm really looking forward to talking about that.
That'll be a good one.
And all right. So,
guys, this is season 3. This is no joke. This is where things are good. You know, we had some problems, but we're doing good movies now. This is serious. You got to see me in whatever movie I'm doing next because I'm Mark Wahlberg. This is no joke.
Well, I did just see his most recent movie that's on Amazon Prime, Balls Up. If you wanted to check it out, I don't recommend it necessarily, but it's an interesting one.
I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah, go Google it. It's something. All right. So that is the show for this week. Back to the Frame Rate is part of the Weston Media Podcast Network. Special thanks to Brian Ellsworth for our show opening. On behalf of all of us, we bid you farewell from the Fallout Shelter. If you're enjoying the show, please subscribe and leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. You will always find all of our episodes at backtotheframerate.com. This is the end of our transmission. Back to the Frame Rate, signing off.
I want you to know it's over.
Well, here's to us.
Hi, everybody. Just want to thank everyone for sticking around to this part of the show. What you're about to hear is some archival content from episode 13. This is way back in 2023, and it was our top 5 James Bond movies that we were counting down between myself, Sam, and Ellie. And this is a great place to repurpose this top 5 list. One caveat I will say is that Sam's audio is not quite up to our current standards. We would probably not do it this way anymore. Sam was driving through Colorado at night and he was going through tunnels and mountains, and you can definitely tell that it's not quite as good as the way we do it these days. But still, it's a great piece of content that I think is a perfect place to put into this episode from Moonraker. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks. Let's move on to our next segment, and we're reviewing Ghosted this week, a movie about secret agents, and it feels like if there ever was a time where we should at least mention this on the podcast, this is the episode to do that. So I figure, at the very minimum, we could at least kind of share a couple brief thoughts on the James Bond franchise in at least general terms. And I would love it. At least I put a little list together of my top 5 favorite James Bond movies. I don't know if either of you guys had a chance to make a list. Maybe Ellie, I think you said that you might not have been able to do this, and that's okay.
No, I have a list.
Oh, you do have a list. I know that.
I've seen so I'm not a fan of James Bond, but I have seen the films, several films, not all of them. Like, I think there are people that I know that have watched all of the films, from the different James Bond eras too.
Yeah.
But I have to say, and I'm sorry I cut you off. One of my favorite James Bonds is obviously Roger Moore.
Is Roger Moore your favorite Bond?
Yeah, because when I was a young woman, a young girl, I always thought he was so hot. Oh my God. I know. I must have been like 12 or something. I don't know. And I thought
So Roger
this
Moore just did it for you.
man
Wow.
was so hot. Like in the 80s, right? So I was like, oh, like the blue eyes, and he was so tall, and yeah. So
I'm picturing you with a Roger Moore poster in your bedroom, and
right
wow,
on.
I'm learning so much about you, Ellie.
Plus, in the 80s, in the Roger Moore films, we had that ugly guy, the giant with the teeth.
Jaws?
What's his name? Jaws?
I forget the actor's name, but the character I think you're referring to his name was Jaws.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, he's not ugly. He's cute in his own way, I'm sure.
I met Jaws at a convention in Vegas, and talked to Jaws about his experience filming Moonraker. That was a really good time.
There you go, Moonraker. Moonraker?
So the actor we're talking about is Richard Kiel, by the way. I think we should mention that.
Yeah, Richard Kiel, yeah.
Is his name? That's Jaws?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He's 7'2". And he passed away at 74 in 2014.
Oh, okay.
He was also in Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler. Very funny in that movie.
Yeah.
Was he? Oh, I don't remember that. Okay.
So, Sam, do you have any thoughts you want to share about James Bond? Favorite Bonds or?
So I'll just say I grew up with the James Bond franchise. My first memories of watching it, I had a next door neighbor, a friend named Trevor, and when he was 6 or 7 years old, his parents started watching Bond movies with him. So from a very, very early childhood, I remember watching Sean Connery Bonds, and a lot of Roger Moore Bonds. So for me personally, I've personally enjoyed Bond, and I've started seeing them in the theater since 1989. I saw License to Kill with Timothy Dalton in 89 when I was a little kid. So my personal experience, big fan of Bond. It's kind of a staple for me.
I think very similar with me. I think the first Bond that I saw in the theater probably wasn't until GoldenEye. I don't remember having a chance to see it in the theater until then. I don't think I became a Bond fan until, I was a Bond fan, but I don't remember the desire to see it in the theater until I was probably in my 20s or so. But I remember renting these movies all the time. The local video store had all of these, and I loved these. And I remember I was probably started off as a Roger Moore fan because those were the ones that I think were constantly on cable. And yes, and for whatever reason, I will admit, I think I kept seeing Moonraker over and over because I was such a big Star Wars fan. And for whatever reason, Moonraker. And Moonraker does not hold up very well, but Moonraker, it was constantly on whatever it was, like TNT or the USA Network, and that was the one that I think I kept getting shoved down my throat over and over. That and the one that was right after that, perhaps.
Moonraker is crazy, cheesy.
Yeah.
Way over the top. It is a ridiculous, sometimes enjoyable movie, but it was a box office smash. That was a big hit in 1979. One of the biggest Bond movies ever, still accounting for inflation. Big hit. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And what was that first Bond? What's his name?
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery
was in Dr. No was the first one.
Was he the very, very first Bond ever?
On film, yes.
On film, why is there another?
No, yeah. He's the first Bond, yes.
That's my mom's favorite Bond.
It is interesting how everybody at different generations will always have their Bond, their first Bond. and it is very generational. Like my dad will always have Sean Connery, and this generation's Bond is most likely Daniel Craig.
I actually, you know what? I do like Daniel Craig too. I think he's cute. I mean, yeah, I'm rating this movie is based on the cuteness of the Bond. And so Daniel Craig, I love his smile. I think he's really cute. And Carlos likes Roger Moore too.
Roger Moore has a lot going for him. He's very, very charming and well spoken, and he's got a lot of swagger to him. So I really enjoyed Roger Moore's growing up, and he was my Bond because I didn't see the Sean Connery films until after I probably saw all of the Roger Moore films.
But wasn't there another in between Bond between Craig and Roger?
Yeah, so between that, after Roger Moore, you had 2 films with Timothy Dalton in the late 80s, and then we had Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, that's right, those 2. Yeah, I didn't like them too. I don't know. I didn't find them cute at all. Oops.
And and I think they all have their unique qualities to them.
But so know what I love most about the James Bond movies really is the fight scenes. I know. I love fighting movies, and I love the car scenes. Oh, those are my favorites.
Car chases, the action scenes are the measuring stick for a lot of the Bond films, and less and less. I mean, what I've loved about the newer ones is that it got away from the campiness, the Daniel Craig movies, and that was really what burdened a lot of the earlier ones. So I think they did a really, really good thing when they kind of reinvented the franchise with Daniel Craig. However, with that came this, they kind of tried to turn it into a series, I guess, which I think was a double-edged sword with it. And I think, I'd like to hear your opinions on the Daniel Craig era in general, because I think ultimately there are 2 great films that they got out of that, but 3 films that didn't really stick that well, at least in my personal opinion.
No, I agree.
It is interesting. Ultimately, does 2 great films out of 5 mean that it was a success? Because I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do going forward. I think it's going to be a while, at least another 5-6 years before that franchise may come back. Now, it is right now a cash cow. I mean, these Daniel Craig movies, all made a good amount of money. So it'll be interesting how fast they want to turn this franchise around and start making more Bond movies. But will it go back to the way it was pre-Daniel Craig, where it's really just an episodic style of filmmaking, or are they going to try to make this like a series where they all kind of are interconnected, or will they lean into that even more? Because I don't know if Bond works at its best when you have to have that through line. I think these movies suffered because of that in a lot of ways.
Why do I feel like the last James Bond though I felt the last movie I watched was I was like, did he die? Is this over, the James Bond thing?
Well, this most recent version of James Bond with Daniel Craig, I don't think we're spoiling much because I think a lot of people know this already. The James Bond character did die at the end of it. Yeah. And that is the end of the Daniel Craig
era.
The Daniel Craig era. And I think that's fine. That is. And I think going forward, they will reboot it with another version of Bond, and it may be a very young Bond. It might be one where he's just entering
what if they had a female Bond?
They've talked about that as well. There's so many things they could do. There is a whole Bond universe they could explore. It doesn't have to be James Bond. It could be the whole,
Janet Bond.
It could be a lot of things. And I kind of actually hope, I think that is the answer to this. It doesn't necessarily have to be James Bond.
Yeah.
It could be James Bond adjacent, and establish. I think that's what they might do, is create a James Bond franchise that has multiple characters in this franchise, because franchises are the key to this. Not just have one character, but to have multiple characters within a franchise under the umbrella of the James Bond moniker might be what they are thinking about doing. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and also like you were saying, James Bond can easily be rebooted over and over again. So it's like the character of James Bond, if there's no actual linear story through all of those movies, but you can just keep going and going. And so when the new actor replaces James Bond in 2026, maybe 2027, something like that, it will just continue on without a hiccup. It's just like the track continues.
Right, exactly. So we'll see what they end up doing.
Maybe they should make Tom Holland James Bond.
You never know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they go that young.
He's kind of sure for it, but
And they want somebody who's going to be with them for the next 15 years. I would not be surprised.
Yeah,
if they go that young. So what I'd like to do, because I think it'd be really cool for us to go through our favorite Bond films from 5 to 1. And that would be kind of fun to do, because I like this. I'm curious how similar our list may be or may not be. And let's see where we all land. Sam, would you like to tell me what your number 5 James Bond movie is?
Yes. Give me one moment, because I thought about it in my brain, starting with 1 first and going to 5. So let me just, one second. So 1 was her, and then, man, this is hard. It's like testing my left brain. Wait, let's see. 1 was, 2 was, I would say that 5 would be, For Your Eyes Only with Roger Moore. That's a very, it's a more serious Roger Moore adventure, and there is a spectacular ski chase in the middle of that movie. It has the best skiing action sequence of any James Bond film so far, and I actually liked the plot, and it was a course correction tonally from Moonraker, because Moonraker was so huge and so silly, they went back to a more kind of serious Bond to excellent results. So 5 would be For Your Eyes Only. 1981.
Ellie, do you have a number 5 pick?
Casino Royale. Well, just because Craig's movies are all the same to me. It's like the same thing. Like, I don't very quietly remember the evil people in a movie. Who was the evil person in that movie?
Mads Mikkelsen in Casino Royale. I think he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my number 5. I can't say too much about it.
Okay. My number 5 is actually GoldenEye. And this pick is on shaky ground, probably because I don't think it necessarily holds up as well as I might think it does. It came out, like I said, at a time when I think the world was extremely thirsty for new Bond and an actor to portray him, and I thought Pierce Brosnan was a good choice at the time for this role, and I think this is the only decent Pierce Brosnan Bond movie that still is you can return to. This is Bond when he's in a full male slut mode in this movie, which is kind of funny. I think maybe the last time Bond is maybe established, it portrayed that way. All the sexual innuendos are in this, and not to mention there's some great villains in this movie. It's got a young Sean Bean in here, and it's the first appearance of Dame Judi Dench is in this movie. He's got Alan Cumming in this, and Femke Jansen's in this. I love the characters. It's just a great cast in this movie. I think some of the best cast of any Bond movies in this movie. So I think this.
And don't forget Mimi Driver's cameo as a Russian.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and also Desmond Llewellyn as Q has a great gadgetry scene in this movie. It's really funny as well. So it's despite the fact that I think this movie it does not date very well. It is fun, and I don't care. I still enjoy watching this one and seeing James Bond drive a tank. I remember in this movie, it's still silly and funny, and I do return to this one probably more often than I should. So it's GoldenEye.
I like it too. I definitely like GoldenEye. I hear that. Yeah. It's a very mid-90s. It's a very mid-90s Bond, and it dates it. But if you like that, then it's just a pleasure to watch that movie.
Yeah. All right. So Sam, you're number 4.
So my number 4, I think, would be, and it's tough because so many of them compete with each other. But I would say my number 4, I'm going to put one more Roger Moore film on there, and that would be The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977. That is was a spectacular Bond, lots of scenes in Egypt, shot in the desert, shot in the pyramids, a very exotic feeling Bond, a vision obsessed with blowing up the land and living under the ocean. A spectacular use of the giant stage at Pinewood when they go into the main villain ship at the end. That would be my one more Roger film, my one more Roger Moore movie on the top 5 list. And a quick side comment, there are a lot of other Roger Moore Bonds that I love that I know they aren't good. They are wildly entertaining, but for critical purposes, they could not reach the top 5. But The Spy Who Loved Me absolutely does. That'd be my number 4.
Cool. All right. Ellie, you're number 4.
My number 4 is The Spy Who Loved Me. For me, it's like, what do I say? I don't even know if that's my number 4, to be honest. Because I was debating between The Spy Who Loved Me, because I really freaking love Roger Moore. But I was going to do, like, I wanted to find a Craig film, and then I was thinking, like, should I do Craig? No, but then there's Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die.
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, where's that song? It's one of his movies that I really love. It's like, I think it goes something. Nobody does it better. Is that Live and Let Die?
I get the song in my head.
Does it better. No, Jim.
It's I get the song in my head. Hold on.
I think it's The Spy. I think it's The Spy Who Loved Me.
It might be. I'm trying to get the songs in my head now.
When you were young and your life was an open book. Paul McCartney. He's in the bar. Just kidding.
No.
Live and Let Die. Not a great Bond movie though.
Live and Let Die. So I'm gonna put Live and Let Die. As
all right.
4.
So my number 4 is The Living Daylights. I like this one. I always thought that Timothy Dalton was an underrated Bond, and after what I think are some terrible turns by Roger Moore in the last couple of his Bond movies, I like the fact that we have a more serious and cynical version of the character. So all I can say is I like this I even like his follow-up, License to Kill, nearly as much as this. So I think that The Living Daylights is one of the more underrated Bond movies, and I dig it. So that's all I'm going to say. Living Daylights is my number 4.
Interesting. I agree about Timothy Dalton. I think he was very underrated. And to be honest, Living Daylights is the one I know the least. I haven't watched it as much, so I can't really chime in. I remember it vaguely, but I was always a very big License to Kill fan because there's this big tanker truck chase in Mexico at the end of the film. But I 100% agree. Timothy Dalton, underrated Bond, and he would have stayed longer, but License to Kill did very, very poorly at the box office in the summer of 1989. So there was a 6-year gap before Pierce Brosnan came back with GoldenEye. So Bond was dead for a while.
Sam, let's get to your number 3.
Okay, number 3. I realized that by mentioning The Spy Who Loved Me, I accidentally pushed out one that I wanted on the list. But I would say, oh boy, this is so hard. I would say number 3 would be, you know what? Honestly, GoldenEye would be my number 3. I really like GoldenEye a lot because I like the fact that I thought GoldenEye, because the Soviet Union had collapsed by 1995, and so there's this underlying theme in GoldenEye that treats Bond as a relic of the Cold War. And so it has that whole kind of spy Russia undertone to it. And I thought it was a really good kind of reboot and update. And the opening sequence when he dives off the dam and jumps into the plane on the motorcycle, to me is so spectacular. It's such quintessential Bond, and I tend to like Bond movies that have a spectacular set piece at the end, and that whole antenna array that comes out of the lake in Cuba, which is also in the movie Contact, Robert Zemeckis. That's actually like a real dish in somewhere in Costa Rica. So they use that, but I just like the fact, I love it when a Bond film has a lot of contrast visually in it. So to have a snowy midsection in Russia and then to have the third act in tropical, beautiful Cuba, I just like that change of scenery, and it really has a global epic feel. So GoldenEye would be my number 3.
Great. And I just love that you brought up that opening action sequence. It is one of the best, not just for Bond film, but I think of the mid-90s and how epic that opening. And you don't see Pierce Brosnan for a while in that opening action sequence. They hide his face and you don't know who the new Bond is going to be. And I just remember how they kept him in shadows and how he's scaling down that dam. It is an amazing sequence.
Yes, they introduce him so well. It's great.
Yeah. All right. Ellie, what is your number 3?
The Spy Who Loved Me. I love The Spy Who Loved Me. I found out who sings the song, by the way. It's Carly Simon. Simon?
Carly Simon, yeah.
Yeah, it's called Nobody Does It Better. I love that song. It's stuck in my head for days. And I just love the scene of this film as well. That's it for me.
My number 3 is Skyfall.
Wow.
This is the third Daniel Craig film. This is my pick. It's I think it's just anchored by that incredible villain with Javier Bardem as Raul Silva, an ex-MI6 operative, plus some incredible action sequences. Probably maybe some of the best ever in the franchise. This film, I just remember, also made bank at the box office. So I think this movie just set a whole new plateau for action in the franchise. So this is my third pick, my number 3 for Bond films.
And again, Skyfall with the whole exotic element. Skyfall goes from London to Shanghai to Scotland. Skyfall's all over the world. I love it when Bond movies venture further than Europe and go way out there.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. Mm-hmm.
All right, Sam, what is your number 2?
Okay, so number 2, I want to give. This is not my number 2. I would like to give an honorable mention to Skyfall because Skyfall was going to be on the list, and it almost would have taken place of The Spy Who Loved Me. I just have such a kind of history with that movie. But I have to say, for number 2, even though there's so many other good ones, I got to give a shout out to Sean Connery's Goldfinger for number 2 because it is such a classic Bond. I believe it came out in 1964. It really set the template. It really cracked the formula for what a Bond film is. And because of that film, it set up the tone for the other Bond films. So Sean Connery in Goldfinger would be my number 2. The scene at Fort Knox at the end is incredible. I love the soundtrack. I love the story. I love the villain, Goldfinger. And I just have a real emotional attachment to it because I love Goldfinger. My father loves Goldfinger. My mother and my grandmother both saw Goldfinger in the theaters in the 60s. So Goldfinger's a big movie to me. So wanted to get Sean Connery on the list. Goldfinger number 2.
Great. Ellie, what do you got for number 2?
No Time to Die.
No Time to Die.
I know. It's probably not one of the best movies, but I do like it because it's the end of that James Bond in that movie. I love Ana de Armas. Is one of my favorite actresses right now, and she does a badass scene fighting, which I was like, whoa. So supporting my girl Anna, and I know I just loved it. I loved there was I felt some emotion in there for me. Like, you know, it's kind of sad at the same time because I do like Craig. But yeah, I just love that the scenes and that got kind of emotional for me at some point, especially when he, you know, blows up. I was like, wait. I was like at the end, I'm like, wait, he just died? Oh my God. Yeah. Oops. I hope I'm not spoiling it for anybody, but
no,
too late.
I think my number 2, I share with Sam. It is Goldfinger. And for me, this is, no pun intended, the gold standard of the classic Bond film. And I think most of the world would agree. This might be most people's number 1 as well. I think it's a perfect Bond film. It's got just amazing one-liners. It's got some of the best gadgets of any Bond film. And for a good measure, I think it serves as the best Connery performance ever as in the role of James Bond. And I can't add anything else that Sam didn't already mention. It sets the tone for the franchise going forward. So it is my number 2. All right. So we're at our number 1s. Sam, what do you have at number 1?
Okay, so my number 1, based on pure enjoyment level and the fact that I think it is an excellent Bond film, is no other than Daniel Craig in Casino Royale. I think it is a masterpiece. I'd also like to point out that both Casino Royale and GoldenEye are both directed by Martin Campbell.
Yes.
He's a precise, precision, character-driven director, and GoldenEye and Casino Royale are both on the list. I would say, to sum it up, the reason Casino Royale is my number 1 is because I think it is a perfectly executed Bond origin story, and it just has spectacular action in it. And when I first heard that a major scene in the film would be a poker game, I thought to myself, how is that possible? This is going to be the most boring Bond movie. I don't want to watch a card game. What is this? Then I saw it in the theater, and I thought it was riveting and suspenseful and amazing. So for me, Casino Royale, a big, fireworky, under bright lights number 1.
Ellie, what do you got for number 1?
Skyfall.
Yeah, and see, Skyfall is so good. And I honestly think Skyfall and Casino Royale kind of compete with each other in terms of quality. Casino Royale has the slight edge with me, but Skyfall is excellent. I hear you 100%.
Well, I loved Skyfall from the music to the I think I liked everything about that movie. Yeah. You know, the scenes, the fight scenes, the cars, the outfits. I loved it. So that's why it's my number 1 too.
Great. My number 1, I also share with Sam. It is Casino Royale for pretty much everything you already said, Sam. I adore this film. I think Daniel Craig absolutely reinvented the character of James Bond in this movie. And I think Martin Campbell, I give so much credit for this. Again, as you mentioned, he also did GoldenEye, which I think there's obviously a common denominator between these two films, establishing a new Bond for both. I think there's something to that. Plus, this was the first Bond that could really kick some ass. And we hadn't really seen that. Daniel Craig is jacked in this movie, and seeing Bond, a version of Bond as an intimidating presence on screen was such a revelation for the franchise. And it was definitely a much needed change after seeing several Pierce Brosnan films that I think were quite lackluster. So this movie just exploded on screen, I think. And it was just a brilliant move by them to make this just completely change the formula for how a Bond film could be. So I love this movie. And my number one.
Nathan, I'm curious, do you have a least favorite James Bond film? One that you dislike very much? Because I definitely do.
I'd say what is the Sean Connery movie where he came back after he took the break? What's it called?
Oh, that is awful. That's Never Say Never. I don't even include that one in my thoughts, but yeah, that's pretty bad.
I'm trying. That's probably up there.
I am not a fan of The Man with the Golden Gun. I love Christopher Lee. I think he's a great actor, but I find the pacing, I find everything about that movie somewhat dull. Man with a Golden Gun, 1974, Roger Moore. Boy, does it not work. I've given it a shot. I like
All right, so we're cutting out a little bit, but we understand The Man with the Golden Gun is not a movie you like. Not a fan. All right, so I know this episode's going along, but I just wanted to ask you, Sam, this might be something that's up your alley. I pulled up something that I think you'll enjoy. You might already know the answer to this. What do you think is the highest grossing James Bond movie adjusted for inflation?
Adjusted for inflation, that would probably be Thunderball.
Wow. Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
What the heck, Nathan? What kind of question is that?
I don't know. I thought I might stump him. Do you know what the top 10 James Bond movies are adjusted for inflation? I do have the list here. I actually want to read this off quickly.
You actually looked it up?
Yeah, I was curious.
Oh, well, that's a good curiosity.
Sam looks frozen here. I'm gonna hope that he can hear this. But the top 10 James Bond movies adjusted for inflation are Thunderball. I was going to ask you, Sam, do you happen to know what the second highest grossing movie is in the Bond franchise?
Mm-hmm.
The second most successful one?
Highest grossing adjusted for inflation.
Not. Let me see. I will say. Moonraker?
No. By the way, you were right on Thunderball. 1.33 billion was what Thunderball was at. The second is Goldfinger at 1.329 billion.
God, that's
number
crazy.
3 is Skyfall with 1.249 billion.
Wow, that makes sense.
Number 4 is Spectre. Number 4 was Spectre with 937.1 million. Number 5 is, if you want to take a guess, it's a Sean Connery movie.
I don't know Sean's font. I don't know.
It is You Only Live Twice with 842 million. And number 6 is From Russia with Love, 822.9 million. Number 7 is Casino Royale, 810.1 million. These are domestic grosses, by the way, just so everyone knows.
Okay.
Number 8 is Moonraker with 751.6 million. Number 9 is The Spy Who Loved Me, 745.9 million. And number 10 is Quantum of Solace, 732.2 million. So
wow.
I'm impressed that you got Thunderball. You just knew that immediately.
He just knew it.
For inflation. Yeah. So
That's
anyway.
nuts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, all right. So that concludes, I think, our discussion of James Bond. Far longer discussion than I ever thought it would be.